ladies feel like women are seriously ready for emotionally intelligent men.
Did I stutter?
Okay, let's talk about what emotional intelligence comes with before we even get into this conversation, okay? We're talking about you wanting a man who is tolerant, who regulates his emotions, who also knows how to manage your emotions. But you're also talking about a man who knows how to navigate his sensitivities and everything else when it comes to that. But you have to consider that an emotionally intelligent man is good at cutting people off when he sees that your sensitivities bring too much reactivity. Ooh. When he sees that you cannot regulate your emotions. When he sees that you have a low tolerance. This type of man that you are asking for is a man who will walk you out the door in a heartbeat. If he feels like you are disrupting his peace. If he feels like there's any level of disrespect, because there's a lot that comes with emotional intelligence. So if you asking for that, you got to come with the same level of emotional intelligence as well. Okay? That comes with a number of factors. So if you are a woman who knows that even though you may be sensitive to certain things like criticism, rejection, because you're not always going to be accepted. Sometimes he's going to bounce back. And sometimes he's going to say, I don't agree with your opinion. Sometimes he's going to say, I don't like those thoughts. Sometimes he's going to say, I don't like the way you speak to me. If you're not ready for that, don't be asking for an intelligent man.
What I'm saying is you should never, if you're in a spirit of growth as a man, you should never put your life in her hands. That's my point. If you're in a spirit of growth and you don't like where you are in life, worst thing you can do is put that life into a woman's hand.
Candy?
You already know if I'm going to take it?
Wouldn't be much of an oracle if I didn't.
But if you already know, how can I make a choice?
Because you didn't come here to make the choice. You've already made it. You're here to try to understand why you made it.
Welcome, my friends. My name is Antoine Phoenix, and this is my RP experience. Peace and love to all my brothers and sisters out there. Thank you for hitting the like button, subscribing, sharing, and turn on all notifications so you know when I have a whole new video up. Today's video is going to be about emotionally intelligent men and how to avoid the bait and switch versus double standards. I'm still fleshing out in my mind how I'm going to do that title. I'm probably going to do emotionally intelligent men versus double standards and how to avoid the bait and switch. So pretty much like the very beginning, emotionally intelligent men, usually they are conscious of their partner's needs, almost in a way like most women want anyway. They want you to read that they are sad, read that they are upset, come to comfort them, do things to, I'll say, for example, you know she likes Rocky Road ice cream. Is none in the refrigerator. So before you come home, you always stop and make sure you get some of that. Now, I'm not asking you guys to do that type of stuff, but that's the type of thing mostly intelligent men will do. And of course, they can have hard conversations. Now, this is why you should be an emotionally intelligent man, not to benefit the woman. How you can make it benefit yourself by noticing the little things that she is doing, how she is being disrespectful, how she is entertaining other men, how she is showing you red flags with double standards that you are supposed to ignore. Meanwhile, if you do the same thing, you are misogynistic, controlling, or you are in the wrong. noticing that particular thing and not getting entrapped or engrossed with those types of women. So I think, especially going into the new year, but I'm going to start a little early now because I know men are always definitely pointing out the bad things that women are doing. I light bulbs is starting to go on in my head of how to avoid these kind of women, not trying to change them. Some people will think I'm trying to change women's behavior by also speaking to them because I understand their side of the story as well. But I'm mostly on the man's side, mainly because I am a man, and mainly because the things that women do are not as loud as what a man will do. A man may cheat with a woman by getting numbers, going out the club, blah, blah, blah. A woman may cheat on a man in at some kind of backwards way, also with help from society. It is the man's fault that the woman is cheating on him. Wow. How does that make sense? So if she's out having fun and she comes across a guy she really likes, oh, now that guy is her soulmate. She had a accident. She drank too much. Would that fly with the man if he was doing the same thing? No, it would not. So to be emotionally intelligent enough to see these type of things right here and to be like, hell no, we not doing that. Bad boys do it on a certain level. Maybe this is why they don't really get played as much, even though they don't care. But at the same time, they can peep out the things that women do, and either they nip it in the bud or they cut the woman off. So I had my first video today talking about double standards. Well, the first clip talk about double standards and how women have them. And look, actually, I'm going to say this after. So let this video play first.
Do you judge a guy based on height? Does height matter?
That is such a good question.
It does?
Yeah.
But there's this.
They can't choose whether or not they get to be tall.
Well, someone else will love them, not me.
Oh, well, that makes everything okay then, doesn't it? But wait.
So I judge based on things that you can change.
Based on things we can change. Now, there's a radical notion. Let's hear it.
For example, how much makeup you wear. So I got some makeup removing wipes because I love...
Fuck no, get the fuck up out of here.
Oh, that didn't go over well, did it?
What the hell? Why would you want to take off my makeup?
Oh, I don't know, to see what they really look like.
Because you're judging guys based on height.
You can see my face.
I can't. You got a whole mask on.
Well, that's very true. But if you think that's funny, just wait.
Does height matter in a guy?
I think we already know what the answer to that question's going to be.
Yes,
It does?
What is the scale?
Because I think weight matters.
Oh, look, something else that a person can, for the most part, control. I wonder how that'll go over.
Height don't matter.
Well, that was fun. I know I always enjoy watching some individuals get upset over being shown their own double standards.
Okay, so there you have it right there. And that is so true. That a woman will judge you on things that you cannot change. But she wants you to judge her on things, to don't judge her on things that she can change. Except for some things that's in the past. Like if she has a high body count, that's why I'm not super hard on that one, but it does depend. I'm talking about the body count. It does depend on if the woman has had a train ran on her. That right there is definitely, I would suggest any woman don't tell a guy that. But if she has had a train ran on her, she has to be emotionally damaged to a degree. Or maybe she had something happen in her childhood for that particular thing to happen. I know women do that in the adult entertainment industry, but they're doing it for money still. While a lot of men get stuck on the body count thing because each one has a different number in their head. And that's a little delusional because you're not going to be, especially if she is over 18, sometimes women may wait till they're 21, but you're not going to be the first dude that touches her. However, from what I heard, women usually pair bond, or they will always remember their first or maybe second. And that's how sometimes they get alpha widow. An alpha widow is if her first one happened to been a Chad or a Tyrone or a thug type dude. And he really beat the brakes off of her in the bedroom. If she gets with one of those good or nice dudes that is not hitting like that, she's going to always think of that particular guy right there, and that is the guy she probably will cheat on you with most of the time. So that's why for me, the types of men that she generally goes for, and especially the guy that if she happens to tell me the first guy she was with, and if that guy was 6'6", a ex NFL player, a basketball player, yes, I'm going to be insecure because I'm going to believe you're going to always kind of want that. There may be some women that may not go that way again, but the only way I think that's the case is if every guy after that guy was completely the opposite. If that's the case, then maybe she won't backslide and go back to that guy again. But a lot of times people are creatures of habit. They will tend to go for the same thing. Same thing when a guy likes a woman with big boobs. And every woman he had has big boobs. And then he gets with a woman that has no boobs at all. If he ends up cheating in the future, that woman will probably have big boobs. Unless if he took a year off or an extended period of time off and becomes a different person or something, valuing different things, then it's possible. But most of the time, people are going to keep doing the same shit. Anyway, with the height thing, look, I know women that are 5'9", 5'10". I'm 5'6". So I understand they don't want to look down on a man. They're either picturing their dad or something. I don't believe in forcing women to pick me, because if that's the case, she's going to cheat or leave me later for the guy that she really wants. So I don't believe in forcing a woman to do that, but just exposing that women want this and men want that, and it seems like what men want doesn't matter. So because I've heard in real time, and a lot of these are snow bunnies saying this kind of stuff, but I know definitely black women will say, because black women are the most honest women. They will tell you to your face, sometimes to the detriment of themselves, but they will tell you, I don't like this, you're corny, blah, blah, blah. A white woman may think you're corny or may think you're too short or something. And depending on if her options kind of dried up or she's going through a rough time in her life, she may pick you. But later, once she comes out of that, she's going to go for the men that she's really into. So once again, if that's her type of man, then let her have it. If you have a small supply of women that like you, that you don't seem to like them, and because of how women are, you don't have to settle. If you don't like a woman because you feel like she's too big or okay, I'm going to say that later, but she's not the type of woman that you want, but she seems to be nice and sweet, but you are not physically attracted to her, then go places where you can get a more women traffic and you get a better choice to choose from. And saying all that, I will see men and women walking around with, I'm talking about in my everyday life. I will see women walking around with men that they are slightly taller than, men that are big while they are small, even though a lot of times men will say that's probably money. That's a separate issue right there. But I will see average couples together. So I don't always, in real time, I don't always see the enforced height thing. But I always think a lot of times women may get with men that they really don't love or they're not into, and then later try, or either if they come across the man that they like, that's the man that they will cheat on you or leave you for. I'm done talking about that particular thing right now. Don't force women to pick you when you're not their type. But at the same time, don't settle for women that's not your type because they're trying to make you feel bad. Because you don't want a woman that's heavier or not built the way that you would prefer a woman to be built. Because if they're going to be superficial, you may as well be superficial too. Evenness, balance in the force. The next one, the bait and switch. And this is the most dangerous one. I believe this is what a lot of men are going for. And it branches on those double standards things. But the women that tell you the truth, those are the women that you should at least give them that respect of, at least you are honest. It's those women that don't tell you, and then you get in a relationship with them, and then they start doing a whole bunch of shit like this.
Bait and switch. This is when they say, well, I would never do that to you. And I'll always make you ham sandwiches. And I'll never restrict sex from you. I'll never take your children from you. I would never divorce you. I can't even understand why women do this. I can't stand those women. I'm not like those. And then she becomes that. This could be as simple as you like long hair and she chops her hair off. Or she blows up like the Goodyear blimp. Like she was thin and now she's not. Do you still love me though? Well, I guess I have no choice. Yeah, I love you.
And that right there is CGA, Coach Greg Adams. One of my biggest influences, only because me and him went through a similar thing. His thing is a bit different because the way his ex-wife did him, mine didn't do me like that. But then, I don't know, maybe she wasn't surrounded with the right people to have her go in like his did. So because of that, that's probably why she and I are somewhat cool right now. But that right there is an example of the bait and switch that CGA was saying. You get with women, okay. For women that care, this is what men go through when they meet a woman. They meet a woman, she has long hair, she's in shape, she's sweet and kind. They get together, they get into a relationship. She starts showing you glitches of maybe an attitude or something. Okay, nobody's perfect. Everybody gets in the mood or something. But it never goes back to when he initially met that woman, because from here on out, it's starting to go up, 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 and up. Now, she had long hair. And yes, I understand that is your hair. She had long hair. And that is what I'm pretty sure that man said at one time or another. Oh, I just love long hair. I love your long hair. What does she do? Especially after she marries you or she knows that she got you locked down. She hacks her hair off. Now, of course, I know sometimes women, they go to the hairdresser and they'll say you have a lot of dead ends and they have to trim the hair down, the shoulder length or something. I'm not unreasonable here. If the woman has had like long hair and then she wants to, only because maybe we live somewhere cold and now we're somewhere hot, and it's a struggle with some women, especially like white women, Hispanic women, women that have long hair. The hair be sticking to them, it sticks on their back, is a mess. And depending on her lifestyle, she has to get to work, and all maintaining it is a mess. I understand if she wants to take it down a bit, but when she goes all the way down to like here, almost down to a boy's cut, and she had long flowing hair, and she will say something like, oh, I just wanted to change, or I just wanted something. I wish you did that when I first met you. That way, maybe I could avoided you or not went with you. And yes, once again, I understand that is the woman's head, the woman's hair. But the best comparison I could say with this is if a woman got with a man that wore stylish gear that rappers would wear, and he always has some nice sneakers on, then all of a sudden one day he decides to just dress with polos and slacks and some and some shoes. Now, some women may say, oh, that's corny. Well, especially black women may say, that's corny. That's not the guy that you fell in love with that was dressing that kind of way. But now he wants to start dressing like this. I'm not sure if it works the other way in reverse, but that's a similar thing that men don't usually do, because men usually stay consistent. But a lot of times women will do that type of stuff right there. I don't know why they do it. I always think they do it because they're not really with the dude or the person they really want to be with. Because I kind of think when you are with the person you really want to be with, you want to also make them happy, or you want to keep their attention on you. When you start not giving a fuck, when you start like, oh, it's like whatever, and you keep on that energy, I'm going to do me. Eventually, because I know I'm like this, eventually I'm going to do me also. I may not hack my whole hair off, which now I do just because I've got older and I don't want to really spend money in barbershops. And it wasn't like something, I was with a woman, I had nice hair with like the points and is black with the dye, and then all of a sudden I just started going semi-bald. I made that decision later, and my woman didn't really say anything. Now, of course, sometimes she would say she want me to grow like a full beard, but I never had a beard before. Like, why do you want me to wear a beard? Is that your fancy man? A guy that has a big beard or something? Okay, so that type of stuff right there is one of the bait and switch stuff, and of course is the thing when the woman gains weight. I always say, that's why I always say, if a woman is built thick, as a lot of dudes like to say, and she hasn't have a baby yet, and she's like in her early 20s, she's going to get bigger, because I think almost all women get a little bigger. And I know this is a sensitive subject to women here. And of course, if I'm with a woman, as Coach Greg said, and she hacks off her hair or she puts on weight, do you still love me? Yes, I guess I have to. Yes, I do. But if I start making less money, I get injured or something, even though I do have videos that women do stand by their men, but I've definitely seen with some of the women that will say that they love me, that when I've had certain life changes or certain things that's happened, their total attitude has changed. So if women are going to be superficial in most cases, not all, because there are some women that will love you as an individual. Thing is, will stay like that. And I always think they do still go by what a man can provide you. Even if it's not really money, it could be fun factor, emotional highs. It's something that she's expecting the man to give her. But as a man, I'm supposed to just take whatever she wills out there. And I say no, especially since now I know how a lot of women play that subtle game. And I think that's the thing, because as men, we have let it go by because we know blatant disrespect of how men do it. But when women do it, is a totally different thing. So, using your emotional intelligence, your superpower, when you see these little things that women are doing, before it gets to the point of marriage and kids. And usually someone will play the game so well, they'll wait until you are married with kids to start doing these big changes. But if you see, actually, you know what? I almost think any woman that you date that does that chameleon thing, meaning she was dressing one way, and then once y'all get together, then she starts dressing a totally different way. Let's say if a woman always wore short skirts and halter tops and showed a lot of her body or something, that usually doesn't bother me within reason. I don't want to see boobs popping out or the cheeks, but I don't mind if the dress is a little above the knee or something, or the belly button showing or something. But anyway, that's just me. Every man's different. But if a woman was dressing like that, and then she started liking this one guy, and then she started dressing like a nun, long dresses and stuff like that, the change is coming. The change is coming once she really get in there. And that's another danger too, when you guys deal with bisexual women, which I understand. In most cases, men don't care. Men don't care if a woman's fooling around with another woman. I don't, to a degree, unless if we get married and we have kids, because then you open yourself up to a thing of the woman leaving you for another woman. Especially if you have kids, you're still paying her. So it's still the same result as she left you for a man. So I may do a separate video about that, but actually both genders should be wary when dealing with people that are bisexual, because you never know which way they may go one day. One day they may suddenly change their mind, unless if at one point they just stayed in one lane, like they went over an experiment and then they just stayed in one lane. I'll still be thinking about it, but seemed like they stayed in one lane. But when they're like back and forth all the time or something, that's just excuses for them to cheat or either branch out and leave you at one point of time. Now, can't really call that bait and switch because they did tell you, but I'm pretty sure most people that are bisexual will say, oh, well, I don't really fall in love with gender. I fall in love with personalities. And that will be the person that I will be with. But now there are some, rare, some, I don't know the percentage. There are some that may follow that particular thing. But most of them, I think they'll go with one. Then when they get tired or bored of that one, or they find one of another gender that's really pushing some buttons, giving them something that the one they currently with is not giving them, then they will go that particular way. So I would say do that at your own risk. I understand if the woman's real attractive, you're just going to say fuck it and do it anyway. I might even do it too, but I'm saying when things go left, you can only blame yourself. So that is it. That's a light summary of the bait and switch and how to avoid the bait and switch. When you see the woman is going to be behaving in that kind of way or doing those abrupt changes that you don't like. Oh, and there's another one. There's a woman that was a nurse and she's married with her husband, and then she decided to do OnlyFans. Now, I'm pretty sure this was years and years later. Now, if he decides to leave, he's taking the penalty. Okay, because he still has to maybe pay her alimony and he has to pay child support. So she gets win-win if he decides to leave. So that's the thing that's scary with women anyway, that when you get into a relationship with them and you start committing, which I do believe if you're serious with her, you should start making those commitments. But if you do that and then she decides to start showing her ass or pulling out wild cards or something, you're kind of stuck unless if you're going to take the penalty. So I would say avoid it. Avoid it at all costs. Use your emotional intelligence to not let things go, and any red flags that she is waving, definitely avoid them or just have fun. if you can live with that. So give me a like and subscribe and have a good day.
Women will treat you however you allow them to treat you. If you continue to give attention to a woman who bails on plans or even sometimes ignores your text messages, you are literally telling her it is okay to disrespect you like that. Set boundaries, stick to them, and do not reward women who treat you like shit with attention.
Relax. Chill to the next episode.
Wait, what's that? Let's turn that up. Have the cart, please. Lawrence Smoke. Clear.